Hi everyone, good evening. So now today we are going to talk about virtual machine scale set. So what is this virtual machine scale set? So virtual machine scale set is for auto scaling of your environment. So if you see virtual machine scale set overview and if you want to know more about this information, you can able to find it from this Microsoft page. So Azure virtual machine scale set let you create and manage a group of load balanced VMs. The number of VM instances can automatically increase or decrease in response to demand or a defined schedule. Scale sets provide the following key benefits: easy to create and manage multiple VMs, provides high availability and application resiliency by distributing VMs across availability zones. Just a minute, guys. Actually, there is a production deployment is going on. I need to approve the pipeline. Just give me one. Okay, I'm back. I approved the pipeline. So the purpose of this virtual machine skill set, to understand it, it's very simple. In AWS, you have an auto scaling concept. Those who don't know auto scaling in AWS, no need to worry. We'll discuss about this virtual machine skill set. See, we initially when we discussed whenever you want to start a business, you just have, for example, you bought one server in the Azure cloud and you selected some operating system, and top of that you run some application based upon what kind of business you are doing. Based on that you run some application. So obviously, to access it from the front end, if it is a single server, you have this public IP, and front end whoever is accessing through the internet your application or website, they will access it. It will come to this public IP, means again it will be mapped with the domain name, right? So whatever the domain name, or it's an application, mobile app, whatever it may be, so it will come to this server, and it will serve the request. But when there is a huge growth, slowly your app or maybe site is becoming popular, then the single server is not sufficient. You are adding more servers. You are going to add one more servers, like few more servers you added. That's the reason we discussed, if more servers are getting increased, then you cannot have each machine in public IP and domain name. So altogether we are going to have a load balancer here. Load balancer for distributing the load equally to these machines. So all these machine IPs will be integrated with this load balancer, and load balancer will receive the traffic and it will distribute equally to this backend pools, which we configured already in the previous sessions. Now this is serving this request, load balancer will take care. But let's say, suppose if this is like a Hotstar app. I think currently IPL is we can able to watch in Hotstar. I think, I'm not sure because I don't watch cricket. If IPL is hosting by this Hotstar, if anyone want to watch IPL, then they will watch in the Hotstar. So during this season, summer season, to watch the IPL, most of the people will subscribe for the Hotstar, and a lot of traffic across the India. Maybe not only across the India, across the world, because our Indians and some other country Australia, some other different countries like Pakistan, from different countries, people are watching. So even from here also, if I want to watch, I need to subscribe for Hotstar. Like multiple countries are going to subscribe to watch that cricket, right? So during this time, obviously there will be huge load on the servers. Whatever Hotstar, maybe by default Hotstar is having some 20 servers till now for their application. But during this IPL time, obviously it is going to be huge demand for this app, and lot of traffic is going to come. So when the lot of traffic is coming to these servers, this existing capacity is not sufficient. So what you are going to do? For this time being, you need to arrange few more servers. You know that Hotstar, like we are going to host this IPL, and obviously load will be more high. Then we need to buy few more servers, and planning 1 month before only you are planning everything, buying servers and placing it in the data center, or maybe if it is a cloud, then you create more VMs and make sure these machines are ready, install all the applications, everything will be ready. If it is a traditional data center, then obviously you need to buy servers, because in traditional data center, the servers will be limited. You don't buy servers which are sitting idle, right? So whenever it's required, then only you'll go and buy. If it's a traditional data center, obviously you are going to buy servers and configure it, install the operating system, install the applications. If it is a cloud, then easily you will create VMs and run the applications, make it ready. And after that, what you are going to do after IPL is completed, then immediately you are going to delete it. And second thing is, for example, you are estimating that traffic will be some XYZ, and beyond your expectation, lot of traffic is coming. Then what you are going to do? Then and there immediately you need to create more virtual machines, and you need to add it in the backend pool of this load balancer. But it is taking time. By that time, the existing servers will have lot of load. By the you create more servers and make it ready. So instead of all this configuration, you can configure auto scaling, which is called as a virtual machine scale set. So what it will do, once you configure this virtual machine scale set, based upon whatever you configure, whenever there is a huge load, automatically servers will get created and automatically the servers will get deleted. So whenever the load is high, all of us see IPL hosting, before itself that we are going to host it, and that's why we are going to get a huge demand. Suppose um, like recently, I'm not sure, there is an in Telugu there is an app, right? Like most of you, some people, those are not from the Andhra, they might don't know, but there is an app called AHA app. Lot of interviews of Telugu celebrities will be hosted, will be need to watch inside that app. Suddenly one day, like when Prabhas interview came, like it was like completely app was crashed, because they did not expect those many people will watch that interview. When they released that interview, it was app itself crashed, because lot of people were trying to see that, but backend servers became very busy, and application was not responding. So when application is not responding, then front end users cannot able to access it. That is unexpected. That should not happen. Nowadays in real world, right, in current situation, when you are using cloud, then we should overcome those kind of scenarios. If it is our own data center, then you cannot do anything. We can go buy servers. By that time everything will be damaged. But in the cloud, when you are using cloud, if all of a sudden you don't know, something become very popular, and over the night, lot of traffic might be coming to your website or maybe to your app, so you need to handle it, otherwise it will crash. So even while you are sleeping as an administrator, even though if there is a huge load, without your intervention, servers should be created automatically and traffic should be distributed to all the machines. So for that purpose, you need to configure this auto scaling. Okay, so which will helpful in real world. Obviously your application should be configured with an auto scaling option if it is for production environment. Why? Because not only high CPU, sometimes there will be like some damage to your server. Maybe rack might be having problem, or the server which wherever it is configured, that server might be having, in physical server might be having any problem. So if that VM goes down, so instead of that, another VM should be come online. Whenever there is a high load, it should create, that is secondary. But always there should be a minimum server should be running based upon regular your day-to-day traffic. So if that is down, then immediately it should create new servers. That is also easily we can achieve with the help of this virtual machine scale set. So for that, now what we are going to achieve this, always remember, like we need to take one VM, and inside this VM we'll take Linux operating system. On top of this, we need to, generally in real world, like we'll install the application, whatever the application is required, necessary softwares, dependencies, libraries will be installed inside this machine. And once it is done, then we will take the image of this machine. So we will take the image, and this image we are going to use it for the virtual machine scale set. This image. So whenever you are configuring this virtual machine scale set, we don't use native images. Native image means by default, whatever Azure is providing, Ubuntu image or Windows image, whatever images they are providing, these are native images which contains only the operating system. But what you are going to do with only plain operating system, you need to have your application. So take one VM and install whatever the necessary softwares to run your application, and install the applications, configure everything, and then you take the image, and that image we use for this virtual machine scale set. So now what we need to do, we need to create a VM, and we'll take the image from that. And once we take the image, we don't need this VM. Then with this VM, we are going to create a virtual machine scale set. Okay. So now I'm going to create a VM, but I think I need to remove public IP for one of the machine, because already 3 VMs are there. From that, I removed public IP from one of the VM. So application gateway is having one IP, and these two machines having two IPs. So I cannot able to get, or else we can, no, let it be. We'll create new machine anyhow. We should not touch this one. Public IP, disassociate, yes. Dinesh Aditya, do you work as a Azure admin? I work as an Azure admin and Azure DevOps and DevOps. Currently, I'm working for a banking project. I work on these three technologies: DevOps, Azure DevOps, because we completely use Azure DevOps pipelines, Azure repos, everything on the Azure, and DevOps. These three technologies. So once this is done, then we need to delete it. Then go to the public IP. So I'm deleting this because this is disassociated. I'm not providing Azure DevOps class. Rohit Singh is going to provide Azure DevOps sessions, and it is going to start from this month 29th onwards. So is it deleted? Let me cross check. Yeah, it is deleted. Now I can go and create a VM. Create a VM. So resource group, take any resource group, virtual machine name, VMSS test VM1, and select any region. It's a single server, so no availability options, security standard image, Ubuntu image, and default, this is a server I'm taking, 1 CPU and 1 GB RAM, and credentials. Next, disks, networking. So networking, if you have an existing VNet, then you can add inside that VNet, or else automatically it will create one VNet. So let it be. And next, management. All the things are not required, just create it, because we need to just take the image of this machine. So what I am going to do, we are not a developers or application guys to install some application. As usual, we will install Nginx and we'll see whether it's running or not by taking the IP of this machine. And then when we create virtual machine scale set, the machines also should able to use the same thing. So once this is created, vice versa, first you create this one and add it to the load balancer. Already you have a load balancer, and while creating this VMSS, you can attach this load balancer to this one. Both are possible. But without load balancer, only creating this VMSS is no use. Obviously, it should have a load balancer compulsory, and load balancer will send traffic to these machines. Now we are going to create an image. You should see fourth machine here. Yeah, this is the one. So I will log into this machine and I'll try to install some Nginx software inside this one. And the username is Cloud Freak. So created, the VM is created. I don't know about Azure DevOps timings. I will check and I will let you know. Maybe tomorrow I will let you know about it. At what time they are going to start. Mostly not this time, because I stay in Europe. That's why I'm taking at this time. They all are like in India. Most probably it will be like in the morning times only, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock of IST, not in the evening. So I'm going to install software apt update and apt install Nginx. No, that is not free training. So VM is created, now installed, and to check etc init.d Nginx status, it is up and running. One command we need to execute, systemctl enable Nginx. So this will make you this service online during the boot time also. Otherwise, what happens? Whenever you reboot your machine, this service will not come online unless manually you start it. So we are going to take this image and we build other servers. When you build other servers with this image, if this is not enabled, then other VMs inside the other VMs, this service will not come online. So again, you should go manually and start the service. Instead of that, if you enable this one during the runtime, the boot time, this Nginx will also come online. That's why we need to execute this command. So once this machine is ready, either you can power off this machine and take the image. So that will be easy. What we are going to do, we can just stop this one and take the image. Raja, for your question, again, it depends upon trainers' office hours. In India, whoever works, maybe most of the people office hours will start at 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock till 7 or o'clock or 8 o'clock. So for them, for traveling, it will take some time to go to office, come back. Some people may not come at for 7 o'clock, right? To start it 7 or 8 o'clock. That's why they prefer in the morning times. See, if we prefer evening, some people will prefer in the mornings. So somehow we should lose some people. For me also, some most of the people might be expecting the morning for this free session also, because for them it might not suitable in the evening. So there will be no win-win situation. So here virtual machine is created and stopped, and you can see deallocated. Always remember, for example, right now I was logged in this machine, right? If I do here uh, init 0 command or shutdown -h, or if it is a Windows, if I tell power off, the machine will be down, right? But if you come back and see for this VM, then it will not show here deallocated. Deallocate means what? Whatever the resources was allocated to this machine, that one CPU, 1 GB RAM, whatever it was allocated, it will be still with this VM only. If you stop your machine from internally, log into this machine and do the shutdown -h command, or maybe power off command in the Windows. If you do it from stop from here, then only it will think that, because internally stop, it doesn't know how to the Azure. If you're doing from here stop, then only it will think that, okay, this machine is stopped and the resources should be again send it back to the pool. Pool means to the data center, to that physical machine, again it will give it back. Again, whenever you are powering on, what happens? Again, it will get back the resources, CPU and RAM from the physical server. So always remember this. This is also sometimes in the interview they'll ask, like, if you reboot, if you shut down your machine, you just execute a shutdown command. So what happens? Still the resources with you, or it will be send it to Azure. So now here we can see the option called capture. So you can select a capture here, and once you select capture here, you can see some options. So now we'll select these options where you want to create, in which resource group, and which subscription, and in which region. Also you can select share image to Azure Compute Gallery, it VM image version, and no capture, only a managed image. So if you see here, when you select this option by default, here it is asking for the details. Target Azure Compute Gallery, where you want to store. You can create a new thing, and operating system state, generalized or specialized. So VMs created from this image require host name, admin user, and other VM related setup to be completed on first boot. Specialized means VMs created from this image are completely configured and do not require parameters such as host name and admin user. So if you are selecting a image and you want to store it here, Azure Compute Gallery. So Azure Compute Gallery is a service that helps you build structure and organization around your managed image. You will be able to replicate your images globally. So only thing is, I'll take one more paint. So here, this is our account. This is my subscription. So in this subscription, this is our own subscription. And whenever I'm creating an image, it will store here. And you want to store, like, another one is Azure native images are there. Azure native images. So here you get all the Ubuntu, Windows, CentOS, lot of other images are available, and whoever want, they are picking from here. And in my subscription here, what are the image which I created, it can be stored here. It is asking, do you want to store it here or you want to store it here? Globally means from some other region also you can pick up that image and you can build the VMs in different data, different region also. That is also possible, because your image no one is going to take. If you want to take also, like in AWS also we have that option, like you can share that image so someone else also can pick it up, or else it will be your own my images, means it will store in your subscription, your account only. No one, like it's your private image, no one able to access your image. So which way you want it, it is asking. And this one, it is a gallery as a VM image, means it is going to store in the globally. Now if you want to store it in your local, means you can select capture only a managed image and automatically delete this virtual machine after creating image. Yes, we don't want that virtual machine once image is created. So you can select that. And zone resiliency, zone resilient snapshots means what are the images created, do we want to keep it in multiple zones? We don't want, we can be only one zone. And what is the name of this VM? And this is Nginx VMS some test name I'm providing it. So once this is done, and review and create. So if you see, I successfully generalized image has been created. So what is this generalized means? What? When you create a VM with this image, it should ask what is a host name for this VM and what are the details you want to provide while creating a VM. It should ask, because when we created this image, by default image will have some information. By default information will be right, the existing VM's image. So it will not come up with the image when it created with the generalized. So it is completed. And home, and if you search in the here image, you can see Nginx VMSS. Under the images you can able to see this image. Or else if you select another option, then it will show you, for example, whenever we create a VM, here you can see VM image options, right? Here see all images, here it will store. Under my images, whatever the space you create, here it will show. So that is a difference. So now image has been created. Let's go and create the virtual machine scale set with the image which we created. Now virtual machines VMSS. This is a one virtual machine scale set. So create virtual machine scale set now. See, whatever the virtual machine scale set which we are creating, it's same like all the options, almost the same like when you create a VM. Apart from this health and scaling option, remaining mostly you can see that while you create a normal VM, independent VM, same options you can able to see. Little bit different, that's it. So now we'll discuss each and every tab now. So obviously we know subscription resource group, virtual machine scale set name, Galaxy VMSS, and region West US. And availability zone. So here you can select availability zone. As of now, I am selecting none. And orchestration. So here orchestration mode flexible, achieve high availability at scale with identical or multiple virtual machine types. optimized for large scale stateless workloads with identical instance. So a scale set has a scale set model that defines the attributes of virtual machine instances, size, number of data disks. As the number of instances, the scale set changes. So new instances are added based on the scale set model. So whenever scale, here scale means what? Scale up and scale down. Scale up means increasing the servers. Scale down means decreasing the servers, means removing the servers. So whenever they want to scale up, what kind of mode or model you are going to set, based on that it is going to work. So here flexible means achieve high availability at scale with identical or multiple virtual machine types. Here multiple virtual machine types means what? Whenever you are creating a virtual machine, so whatever the type you select, B1 or B2, whatever the type you select, it will be fixed. Even if it is creating hundreds of VMs also, these machines will be fixed. If you want options, then like you want to go with the B2 also or some other machine types, then you can go with the flexible. Uniform means it will be like a same. If you select B1 means for all the VMs it will be B1 only. So that you need to decide. So I'll go with the flexible, because we can change from B1 to B2 also. You can add B2 also over here, because we have more flexible. You can increase the machine types. And security, this already we discussed, like trusted launch. When we created VM, at the time of VM sessions we discussed protest against persistent advanced attacks on Gen 2 virtual machines. So as of now we will go with the security type standard only. And what image you want to select, here you go here, so here Nginx VMSS test, select this one. So this is the image which we created. So it got selected, customized. And before that, I think we got deleted that VM. I think we did not try to access it from the internet with the IP of that machine. Because once we installed everything in that machine, we should have tried with the public IP of that machine whether Nginx is accessible or not. Then only we should go and create image and use that image to create more machines, but we missed it. So this is the architecture, and we don't want any spot. And here we are selecting size. So what are the size you are selecting here? So here if you select uniform, means if you mention 100 VMs, 200 VMs, all the VMs will create with the B1 only. There is no other choice. But if you select this one flexible, you can change this virtual machine types also. So as of now I'm selecting B1 and password, username. So here the next one, so as of now I think this is a new spot. Azure Spot offers unused Azure capture discounted rate. Your workload should be able to tolerate interruptions. This is a new tab has been added. I think previously this was not available. So same already we discussed about the spot instances, unused Azure capacity. They are recommending to use it. So I don't select any of these options. Let it be. And disks, OS disks, whatever the OS disks you are going to attach now, the same will be again identical. Means whatever the VMs it is going to create, more VMs is going to create, then all the VMs going to have the same disk, premium disk. If you select here premium disk, all the VMs is going to have the same premium disk. And also if you attach any data disks here, then for remaining VMs also it will be if it is 100 means 100 VMs is going to have the same data disk also. So I'm not creating any data disk. I'm going with the premium SSD only here for the disk. And coming to the networking. So networking here. So if you, as I mentioned, if you are using any existing VNet, then use that VNet. Automatically, it will create a new VNet, and it is going to give a NIC card. So here you need to understand one thing. It is giving only one NIC card. So for example, if you mentioned to create this VMSS, minimum is 4, max is like 100. So for all these 4 VMs, it will be single NIC only. The single NIC is going to be distributed to all the 4 VMs. Understood? Each VM is not going to have each individual NIC card. All the 4 VMs, if it creates more VMs when it is doing auto scaling, it is creating a 10, 20, 30 servers. For all that, this is going to be bandwidth is going to be distributed from this single NIC only. Understood? And here it is asking load balancing. Before this virtual machine scale set create itself, if the load balancer is already available, then select the load balancer or application gateway. If you click on Azure load balancer, then select the load balancer. If it is an application gateway, you can select application gateway. But why our application gateway is not showing? We have maybe because of the different region it is not showing, because we created it in the East US and this is in the West US we are creating now. Otherwise, it would have shown here our application gateway which is already created. Or else you select none. Once this mission scale set is created, then go and create load balancer, and then you attach this VM virtual machine scale set to the load balancer. So as of now, I'm selecting none. And next tab is, this is very important for this virtual machine scale set, because this tab is specifically for this service virtual machine scale set. So scaling initial instance count, how many you want. So you want minimum 2 or minimum 4, what are the value you give here. Based on that value, always it will be available. If you mention 2, means always 2 servers will be up and running. Whether there is a load is there, traffic is coming or not, doesn't matter. What are the value you mention minimum means minimum servers will be always up and running. And scaling policy, manual or custom. So what is manual? Manual scale maintains a fixed instance count. Custom auto scale allows to scale the capacity of virtual machine scale set on any schedule based on any matrix. So here manual means you mentioned manually, like when you select manual, and here you mentioned 4 servers. So 4 servers are going to be up and running, right? So 4 servers, whether there is load is there or not, doesn't matter. 4 servers will be always up and running. When there is a huge load, traffic is coming and these 4 servers are busy, then it is not going to create one more machine. Manually, you should go and create the one more machine, or else you should go and change the value here. Manually, you should change value 6. Manually, you should go and change the value 6. Then what happens? It will make it as a 6. When it became 6, default was initially it was 4. Because of the high load, these 2 servers created because you went and changed the configuration from 4 to 6. But after load is reducing, then automatically this will not go and delete. Again, you should go and manually change this value to again 4, default value, minimum value. Then it will delete 2 servers. So this way manual intervention is needed. Whenever you want, automatically it will not create. Whenever there is a high load or whenever there is a low load, it is not going to remove or not going to create until unless you go and keep on changing these numbers, then only it will work. So custom means you are providing some metrics. whenever this thing occurs, then it should increase, and whenever it reduces, it should decrease. So you are going to define with some metrics here. So minimum number of instances, you tell 2, means always 2 up and running. If 2, when you create 2 machines, minimum 2, it will keep on running and regular traffic is coming, regular these 2 servers are okay to serve the request. Due to any reason, if this machine is down, maybe backend some software issue, hardware issue, if this server is down, then it will create one more server. Why? Because you mentioned minimum 2, so always it try to maintain that value minimum 2. So the image which we created, it will take that image and it will create the another machine. So again it will be like 2 and up and running. Whenever there is a huge load, then again it will scale up. That we'll see how. So scale out. CPU threshold is one of the metric. There are a lot of other metrics also there. Once we create this, we'll go and see how many metrics are there. So this is the basic metric, CPU threshold. Whenever there is a high CPU utilization on the server for 75%, duration means for continuously 75%, 10 minutes of time, then number of instances to be increased by. So if a machine is utilizing lot of CPU and it using 75% of CPU resources for continuously 10 minutes, then it should increase with one machine. So what are the value you give here? It will create. If you give 2 machines, then it will create 2 new VMs it will create. And scale in. This is scale out means increasing. Scale in means if CPU utilization is 25%, then number of instances to be decreased by. So how many instances? Here we call it as an instances. So how many instances means virtual machine will get it decreased. So what is the value you give here? It will decrease those many servers, means automatically it will delete it. And this is something preview, whichever is in the preview means what? You cannot use that feature in the production. Always remember, whether it's maybe Azure or AWS or any other clouds, they will keep on add new features. But the new features immediately they will not ask you to use it immediately. First, it will be under preview. Preview means what? Still, it is under the testing phase. So you cannot use those in the production environment. For production environment, not only this VMSS, anything you wish to configure, whether it's a virtual machine, network, anything, always remember, if it is a preview, any of the option, don't use it for production, because if something happens, even Azure is also not responsibility for the damage. It's in the testing phase only. So this is also like testing phase. Predictive auto scaling. Enable predictive auto scaling forecast. Enable forecast for predictive auto scaling without any scaling option. This allows you to view the comparison of predicted traffic with actual traffic without any predictive scaling options. So here by name itself, predictive means you are predicting like traffic will come, this much of traffic will come, and it expects this many of servers, apart more than 2 servers. That way, if you are able to predict, you can do that. Diagnostic logs, collect diagnostic logs from autoscale. Whatever is happening, server is getting down and another server is creating, all these things is going to be collected in these logs. So scaling policy, why this is grayed out, I don't know. Scaling policy, configure the order in which virtual machines are selected for deleting during a scaling operation. We are telling here scale in means whenever CPU threshold is 25%, server should come down. But which server will come down? Let's say you mentioned minimum 4 and maximum 10. So these 4 servers are busy and it created 2 more servers, and 6 servers are enough to handle the load. So once the load is normal and keep on it reducing, then you don't need these many servers. It should delete one server. Then which server it should delete? How it is going to decide which server I need to delete? So here, what are the options you select here? But I don't know why this is disabled. It should be enabled. Like it will show three options. So one is like a old VM or new VM. Old VM means among the six, which is the old VM. If you select that option, it will delete that VM. And if you select whichever is a new VM, then whichever the VM was created in the last, that VM will get deleted. So whenever the load is becoming normal. So that's how you can scaling policy is not supported for virtual machine scale cell flexible orchestration mode. Okay. Uh, if I select uniform here and scale in here, and you see newest balance across availability zones, then delete the newest created VM and balance across the availability zones, then delete the oldest created VM. So this way, new one you want to delete or old one you want to delete, you need to decide it. Based on that, you can select it. So here manual, custom, and these are based upon the metrics you selected. And next management, upgrade policy, upgrade mode, manual existing instance must be manually upgraded. So here, what are the instances which are getting created? Those should be like upgraded. Upgrade means what? Always there is a difference between upgrade and update. Set the upgrade policy to determine how VM instances are brought up to date with the latest scale set model. So upgrade policy, okay, again we'll do what here, uniform. So here if you see upgrade mode, automatic instances will start upgrading immediately in a random order. Manual existing instances must be manually upgraded. Rolling upgrades roll out in batches with. So automatic means whenever there is an upgrade is required for that images, some one version to another version, automatically do you want all the machines should be upgraded. Manual means existing instances must be manually. You are going to do that. Go to that instances option and do that upgrade. There will be an upgrade option over there. So if you click that, it will be upgraded. Or else rolling means if you have 6 servers, then based on the percentage wise, it is going to select like pause time between batches. 20% it will do for the first time. Once it is up and stable, then it will go and do again on the remaining 20% of the servers. So that way, rolling update will be done. So if you select automatic and boot diagnostics, so it will check. It will help you whenever you want to troubleshoot the VMs, whether VM is not able to connect, you can go and check in the boot diagnostics whether it is still up and running or having any issues, any kernel issues, or it got stuck. It will help you. Identity, enable system and assigned manage identity. System assigned managed identity enables Azure resources to automate to cloud services. So here, if you want to configure any credentials, better it is asking to use the Azure Key Vault. So in the Key Vault, you can able to create this any kind of, for example, certificates or secrets over there, so that no one can able to go and view inside that Key Vault. And login with Azure AD. So if Azure is enabled, then you can able to log in. Otherwise, you cannot able to log in. And over provisioning. What is this over provisioning means? This is also one of the good feature. See, when you mention minimum value as a 4, so you mention 4 is a minimum value. So whenever it's try to create a VMs, it will try to create VMs all the four in at the same time for this virtual machine skill set. When you're creating a virtual machines, what it will do, individual virtual machines, one by one it will create. First it will create one machine, second it will create another machine, third it will create. But virtual machine scale set will try to create VMs at the same time. If you mention 440, it will create same time. So when it is trying to create the same time, sometimes some of the VMs may not create properly. It will get some errors. So that's why what they are doing, they are going to create additional 2 or 3 extra VMs. When you trigger this VMSS, you mentioned 4. Then backend it will trigger to create 7 VMs. So from these 7 VMs, how many you mentioned? 4. So if even though if there is a chance if any of the VMs was not creating properly, then still you'll have 4 VMs up and running for your scenario. Understood? So 7, if you mention 4 VMs and it will try to create 7 VMs. Why? Because they want accuracy. Like 4 means 4 should be up and running immediately. So for that purpose, they are creating additionally 2 to 3 servers more. So even though with the same configuration, whatever the configuration you mentioned, instead of 4, they are creating little bit more, like 20 to 30% more. If you mention 4, then they might create 7. So if 1 or 2 machines couldn't able to create properly also, but still you can have your own 4 servers up and running. Backend again they will delete the remaining servers, whichever is up. For example, there might be chances all the 7 servers might come online. Then what they'll do, they'll delete those 3 and they'll have this 4 to the users. So that way, because instead of again if it is failed means what are the 4 you mentioned, they are also trying to create 4, but due to some issues provisioning is not happening properly, 2 will got created and 2 did not created. Instead of all these things, they are doing this way. With over provisioning turned on, the scale set automatically spins up more VMs than you asked for. Then deletes the extra VMs once the requested number of VMs are successfully provisioned. So over provisioning improves provisioning success rates and reduces deployment time. So you are not billed to the extra VMs and they do not count toward your quota limits. This is what you need to understand. Just because improves the provisioning success rate means whenever it is trying to provision, we should not get any error, right? As the server is not able to create this kind of errors, you should not face. That's why instead of 4, backend will try to create 7. So out of that, 4 will give it to you. Remaining 3, they will delete it later on, and they are not going to charge for those new extra servers which create. And guest OS updates enable update OS. This is a minor updates. Any minor, there will be major updates and minor updates will be there. Major updates means version changes. Minor updates means small updates. So automatic was not allowed for the image you selected in the basics tab. Okay. Instance termination, enable instance termination notification means whenever we are thinking VMSS will delete some server whenever the load is normal. So if you enable this feature, then whenever this server is getting terminated, you will get notified that so and so server is getting terminated. So if you want, you can enable that option. And this is health probe, enable application health monitoring. And if you select this one, obviously you need to select the health monitoring of your application. 2 times. See here, if you configure already backend also load balancer is also going to do health monitor for your application, because if this is a load balancer, they need to check whether these VMs are up and running or not. So if it is not up, then it will not send load to this machine. But even VMSS also going to do the same thing. It is also checking whether my VMs are up and running or not. So application, obviously, if it is an web application, then it is an HTTP. And if you are using some other ports, 3312, something like that, then you should provide whatever is running inside that machine, that port number. And path slash here, whenever we install Nginx, where we have installed var www html, and here that Nginx file was there, some config file, and something like var www html women dot html, something like this. So here your virtual machine scale set is going to monitor your application inside the server. It will check the protocol HTTP, and it will try to ping the port 80 whether it's up and listening or not, and it will check the path here slash by default. Slash means here this var www html is a slash. This is equal to slash. So that's why we provided slash. Like last time, if you have any directory and inside that HTML content is there, then you should give this way, so that whatever is inside the woman, everything will be covered, and it will try to check the application status also, whether it's working fine or not. And automatic repair policy. Before enabling the automatic repair policy, review the requirements for opting in here. So enable automatic repairs. So here, if this is a scenario, you cannot able to, if any of the VM is having any problem, then here enable automatic repairs. So what it will do, delete unhealthy instances automatically and create new ones with the latest instance model settings. So it will delete the existing one and it will create a new one. But what is this grace period time? And it's just 10 minutes. Grace period time is there might be sometimes a false positive will be there. False positive means what? See, when it is trying to do the health check to the so and so server might be up and running fine, but due to some busy, like sometimes daily there will be a backup, scheduled backup will run on that server, or maybe some antivirus, if it is a Windows machine, some antivirus scanning might be executing on that machine automatically every day. These are the regular tasks, or maybe some weekly tasks it is going to do. Then the performance will be very slow. Whenever on a VMs, if it is backup is triggered, then that VM will be very busy. If you see CPU and RAM, it will be fully utilized. After backup is completed, again it is be normal only, or sometimes application will be busy. So at that time, it will not respond to this health check. It cannot able to acknowledge because it is so much busy. So then the health check will think that I did not get response, so I should delete this VM and I should create a new one. This kind of scenario is called false positive. Understood? Server is up and it is working fine. Because of the busy, it cannot able to respond on time. So then it will think that server is not working, then we need to recreate a new one. So instead of that, grace period, if you type 30 minutes, if it is really server is up, but due to some XYZ reason, it is not able to respond, then we can wait up to 30 minutes. If it is really a backup, or if it is really any performance related issue, like fully busy, server is going to hung state, then it will not respond to this kind of queries. So then wait till 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, again, we'll check the status. In this 30 minutes also, if it is not coming online, then it will be like repair policy, this will be executed, and it will create a new one. Advanced allocation policy. enable scaling beyond 100 instances. See, always remember, uh, these instances, they're not going to give unlimited servers. Whenever the scale up is happening, immediately they will not give hundreds of servers. This is based upon the subscription. So there will be limitation to your subscription, whatever you took. So for that subscription, it will allow, let's say, 100 servers. So you can create up to max 100 servers only. So same way for every service, there will be a limit. So now add additional configuration agents, scripts, or applications via virtual machine extensions. So enable scaling beyond 100 instances. It is not like default enable. If no, the scale set will be limited to one placement group, that you can ignore. Spreading algorithm, max spreading, fixed spreading, not recommended with zones. So which means what? These two options. Whenever we are creating a VMs, obviously this VM, I am talking about VMSS. VMSS. So whenever you are creating VM, so you are having two options. One is availability zones, because inside this servers, okay, or else inside this one, multiple single availability zone, but multiple racks, update domain and fault domain, right? So this is like availability set, and availability zone. So now what is telling, fixed spreading not recommended with zones. When you select fixed spreading, then you cannot go with the different zones, like here one machine, uh, here one machine, you cannot able to do that. Max spreading only you can able to do that. Okay, because in different availability zones you can able to do that. And if you select here fault domain 5, it is showing fault domain 5 means what? You want all the servers in a single data center, and but little bit more high availability, then you can select up to 5. Fault domain means in 5 racks, different racks, your machines is going to be created, here one, this way, fault domain. And max spreading means what? Maximum it will spread, like spreading algorithm. The spreading algorithm determines how VMs in the scale set are balanced across fault domains. With max spreading, VMs are spread across as many fault domains as possible in each zone. With fixed spreading, VMs are always spread across exactly 5 fault domains in the case where fewer than 5 fault domains are available. A scale set using max spreading will still complete deployment, while a scale set using fixed spreading will fail to deploy. So here, understood, right? So fixed spreading, what it will do? Fixed spreading means it is, you are selecting in how many fault domain you want to select. If I select 3, then these VMs are going to create in the 3 data centers, means 3 inside same availability set inside the 3 different racks. Normally, if you are creating individual virtual machine, you will get only fault domain option is 2, not 5. But this is for VMSS, that's why it is showing 5 as a value. So in 5 racks, you can able to create servers. If you select fixed spreading, so if you want max spreading, you can select this. And here custom data, if any script you want to execute after server creation, you can select that. Pass a script to configuration file or other data and will be accessible to your application throughout the lifetime of the virtual machine. Do not use user data for storing your secrets or passwords. So this is general script you can able to execute installing anything, creating anything, deleting anything, any certificate secrets related. You can use this option like pass a script or other data will be accessible to your applications. And create a virtual machine here. So this is a dedicated host means you want one dedicated host from the cloud from wherever we are creating here data center. This is a physical server. From that they give small piece of resources to create our own application as a small VM. So dedicated means this complete host. So what we will do with that? And then now next any tag you want to give, you can give, or else just go and review and create. Require information networking, it is filled. Why it is filled? 4 public IP addresses are needed for this. Need 2 or 3 naming of session. Free trial to meet your quota. Can you disable the public account? Okay, again same problem. Public IPs. So I need to delete. But why I think we don't need 4. Um, mm, mm, mm. So what we'll do? Scaling. We'll do only 2. Okay. So we don't want 4. We can have scaling 2. And now again I'll try review and create. Okay, it is passed. So now we'll create it. So it is taking time. In the meantime, let's talk about these questions. So mm, why it got failed? Public IP address. This public IP address problem. Virtual machines. Even for first VM also will delete that. So now associate. Okay, and then delete it. We'll go and see total how many public IPs are there now. This is not yet deleted, I think. VMSS test. So quickly, let me create some resource group, virtual machine scale set, name VMSS, region, flexible will select, see all images, password. Again, we need to fill everything. Next spot disk VM default one, scaling to custom, so minimum 2 instances and maximum number of it can go up to 10. CPU threshold, this is one of the metrics we are selecting, and apart from that, next management, automatic OS upgrades automatically it will do. Health, enable health monitoring, this is the one. If it is not a web application, then you should select TCP applications. That's it. Enable automatic repairs, grace period 30 minutes. Till 30 minutes, if it is not responding, then we treat it as like there is no backup or no scanning is running. Maybe server is done, then it should delete it and create a new one. Next, advanced. So if you want the servers wherever it's getting created in the multiple zones, then go with the max spreading, and then next tags review and create. If it fails again, we need to clear it. I think this time it should create if it is for the public IP, because only one public IP is used, and we selected 2 VMs now. Azure network it is creating, NSG is created. Scale set is getting created. Okay, now we'll go and talk. Yeah, Narayan, I created that Udemy courses. Just give me a minute, like URLs. Coupons I created. Where did I store them? Okay, just a minute. I will. It is in another laptop. I'll copy them, or else I'll go here. Not sure whether I can able to get it from here or not. Yeah. So this is for Linux, and so this is for Kubernetes. Okay, I think deployment is completed. This VMSS. Uh, Select different region and create a max equals to 3 with 3 public IPs. Instance. Yeah, I decreased to 2, and then initial VM is 4. That's why. Yes, correct. Single NIC for entire scale set. Yes, single NIC. It is going to take the bandwidth and share from that single NIC itself. And if we have two disks in image, how we need to select disks while creating? So whatever the image will have, automatically it will create those many disks for your VM. At the time of creating image, that particular VM is having two disks, then image also contain the same thing. Then while using that image, when you created, it is going to have the same thing. And if VM is not accessible over internet and image is used to create VMSS, what can we do after deleting it? We don't delete image, we delete only VMs. So what we'll do, create individual machine with that image, log into that, and if you want to do any necessary changes, then again you do it to that, and again create image from that, then update that image for the virtual machine skill set. Always we cannot use the same image for longer period. So what are the image we are creating, that image keep on updates. So what are the image, because whenever you create this virtual machine skill set, you cannot able to log into these individual machines. Like when you log into virtual machines, same way you cannot able to log into this VMs. If anything needs to be changed from the application level, you cannot go inside this VM and change it. You should change those changes in the image, and that image again you need to update inside the virtual machine scale set. That is how it's possible. So let's go to the resource, and here you can see this is common for every service, and here instances, you can see instances. Whenever at the time of creating, if you come back and see here, it will show you, it might start for creating 3 or 4 VMs, like over provisioning. Then it will bring back to the normal 2 machines, whatever you requested for. So these VMs, these are called instances. And if you go inside these instances, you can see again individual information here. And if you see here networking, this is the one. This is network security group, and this is an interface, and the same you can able to see it to the another machine also. And these VMs you cannot able to see from the virtual machines. If you see virtual machines, oh, these are showing now here also. Previously, virtual machine scale set VMs was not visible in the virtual machine tab. Now here also we can able to see these VMs. Only always we should go to virtual machine scale set and instances, then only there we can able to see these VMs. Now it's visible over there also. Every time they'll keep on update. Right now I'm whatever I'm taking in this batch, if I go to the next batch next month, again I'll see few more options, new options for some of the services. So every time they'll keep on update. And here networking, like the NSG, and here you can see the scaling options. So at the time of creating, it was asking only for one metric, CPU, right? So here, if you see in the scaling option, you can see configure manual scale or custom scale. Already we discussed about this one. And maintain a fixed instance count scale on any schedule based on the metrics. And if you see here, scale in policy, and in the configure tab, if you see custom auto scale, default profile one here. Mm, 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 mm. Where is this? Okay, here scale out, scale in, we selected CPU utilization is 75/25, right? So here what you can do, you can change it. This is a resource and this is a resource type, metric namespace, percentage CPU, and you can see here these many metrics options are available. Disk IOPS, input output per second also you can configure. And not only the CPU, lot of other performance related metrics are available. So you can select based upon your real-time requirement what kind of application it is running, whether it's getting lot of IOPS or lot of other requests you are getting, network related stuff. Based on that you will select here, and then you will configure. These are like greater than 75%, duration 10 minutes, then create one instance, what value you are going to give. So all this information will be available here. So scale in policy means, scale in means delete the VMs. So what it is selected, whichever is the newest one, it is going to be deleted. So these are the predictive charts, run history. You will see the graph, like what servers are doing, like whether creating, deleting, what is happening, everything you can able to see it from here. And disks, only one disk for the operating system. If you remember, while creating image at that time we have the same one. And operating systems, this is how whatever we discussed during the configuration, the same will be visible here. And instances got public IP, it will not able to access because security group is not allowed, port 8 is not allowed for this one. Networking, and inbound rule, add. So security groups needs to be provided, port 80, and then this virtual machine scale set needs to be added to the load balancer. So when you create load balancer, then do you remember at the time we were added virtual machines as a backend pool? Instead of that, you select this virtual machine scale set as a backend pool, so that all the traffic will come to these servers. Originally, you should add virtual machine scale set instead of individual virtual machines, because high availability and fault tolerance both are important. So that's how you need to configure this auto scaling concept. So this is about virtual machine scale set. Tomorrow we'll come up with a new topic. I did not get you, Nanda. Above courses are free of cost to Dexians means what? I don't know what is that. DXC. See, already we have an application gateway, right? For example, but application gateway is in different region, and this is a different region. At the time of creating load balancer, it was asking to attach the backend pool, right? While creating here during this tab, let's say resource group Azure RG name test West US standard public region front end IP configuration. Like for example, I go to the next, okay, front end, at least one we need to configure front end IP. All VMs IPs are busy here. I cannot create one here. So if you go to here backend pools, then it will show you select virtual machines or virtual machine scale set. So if you select virtual machine scale set, then these all VMs will be available over there. That is how you are going to configure in the load balancer. What use cases? Azure DevOps is completely for Azure boards, sprint changes, everything will be planned with Azure boards. And we use Azure artifacts for to store our artifacts, jar files, and pipelines, releases completely. Whatever is everything we use in Azure DevOps. Okay. It is like customer facing applications only. Whenever a customer calls back and it will come to an API. From that API, it will connect to multiple APIs based upon the options, whatever they select. So lot of things like it's completely APIs, lot of APIs that runs in the background. So we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks everyone.